Hello and welcome to FPL Weekly. And what an exciting day! Today, the day has finally arrived. Ches, how are you feeling about it, buddy?
Yeah. I first of all want to apologise for any part of the community that I've given some abuse
Abuse?
to in the last couple of days. Yeah, I do control the Twitter account, and so all the hate can come at me. I kind of felt like a troll at times. Like I was
Yeah,
hiding. I
got a
was
bit
hiding.
trolly to that. What's that FPL guy called? FPL.
FPL Matt.
Yeah,
He was getting it.
he got peppered.
Yeah, he got peppered. He got peppered.
The game will definitely be released by 4:30 a.m. Trust me, I know my
Oh,
sources.
that was like FPL something or other. Yeah.
FPL rumors or something like that. Yeah,
Rumors. Yeah. I was giving him some shit.
some fake news
No,
skip.
FPL hints. FPL
That's
hints.
it. FPL
He's
hits it.
he's got nearly 100,000 followers, but don't worry. FPL Weekly with our masses eight was giving him some
with
shit.
with some fake news gifts. Yeah.
Yeah, fake news and all that stuff. Yeah, no. And
Anyway.
then was giving Matt some pelters about he was asking people for what his name should be, and I
Yeah.
was saying it's going to be one behind us. So yeah, no.
Yeah.
So yeah, no. It's been I don't know. The community's been going off really. So
Yeah.
I wanted to get involved, trying to get as much traction as I possibly can.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's been relatively fun. There was a big clamour to get the lowest ID today.
Yeah.
How did you get
All
on?
right.
Did you manage to
I
see
haven't
what
seen
we got?
mine yet. God's honest
Uh,
truth. I haven't seen mine.
yeah, I think I sent mine over to you, didn't I? I
Yeah.
got a I got. Well, let me give you the juicy details.
Is it to do with your ranking last year or how quickly you registered?
No, come on, you diddy. Thought
It's
you meant to be. Thought you meant to
how
be
quickly you
involved.
registered.
It's basically how quickly you register. So like people going through auto pick Arsenal favorite team, and their
Right.
team name is like a symbol, just so they could get through really quick.
Right.
So I was in work today, like most human beings were, and managed to
Most non-virgins. Yeah.
managed to get a 6,903. Which, if you think about it, if you come 6,000th in the
Yeah.
world,
Yeah.
you're doing quite well. So
Yeah.
I did manage to do it. I forgot to do like the whole Arsenal, and I picked my proper name, and then I was pondering around on started to pick a team, and then I just auto picked it then quick. So
Yeah. I
but
didn't auto pick it. I did my team. I didn't realise
yeah,
anything about the ID. So.
yeah. So basically, for those people who don't know, if you're joint with anyone, so say the overall team overall best overall week is 130, for example, and it basically FPL will then go on the lowest rank. So and then the weekly prizes are quite good. I don't know if anyone's ever looked into it, but it's like 2 tickets to your own Premier League game in a box and hotel and all that kind of stuff. So you'd be pretty gutted if you pondered round making your team and then
Yeah.
you missed out because your frigging rank was wrong. Like you'd want to cry, wouldn't you? So,
Yeah.
but yeah, that is high level Virgin talk right there. So, so we digress. But yeah, listeners, game open today. We're recording this quite late, when we could get together on the 5th of July, and let's get cracking.
Get into it, mate. Let's get into it. So as you can see on the screen, this is just my first. I mean, it's just the first draft. I mean, the game came out at 5 o'clock. So is this going to definitely be my team going into game week one? Probably not. But I don't think it's going to be miles away. But I'm open, as we'll discuss later, what Ches will talk to you mostly about. I am open to a threemium. When you sent me your threemium, I kind of shut it down before looking at it. I was like, oh, don't waste my time with the threemium.
Well, you shut it down because like I was last year. I spent a lot of the year on a threemium, and you kind of were saying that I was making too many sacrifices.
Yeah,
Now, the way I've always had a philosophy of this game is, especially at the first part, right? Because chips are not being used. Yeah, no one's using a chip in the first 6 weeks. Okay,
yeah,
so therefore, if you're picking a team of 11 players that are more than likely going to play, why the hell does it matter what your third sub is? Okay,
Yeah.
so and there's some value in players which are say 4 million who are going to play every week. So the way I look at it is, if I'm picking a budget player, as in a £4 million defender, like Bell is going to be for everyone. If he's playing and he's getting 2 points every week, I'm content with that. If he sits on the bench and if he has to come on because, as you've got there, Rico Henry is injured, then I'm okay with that. That's okay, because it probably means I can upgrade James from a Gabriel to James, and and James's ceiling is so much higher than Gabriel's. So it's that's where I'm on board with it. Okay. So I'll come on to I wanted to. So Johnny's picked a kind of a team that he was going for. I'm really undecided yet, so I kind of was more. I'm going to play around with a 3 million, and Johnny's done a 1 million, as in one a Haaland and another.
Yeah,
I guess.
We'll come on to that. Mate. So I'll really quickly go over this team, really quickly, and why I quite like this structure. Partly the reason I like 3 at the back is because defenders were crap last year in general, and I feel like the game has shifted again to saving money at the back. When you look at last year, we started the year with loads of premiums at the back: Cancelo, James, Robertson, Trent, blah blah, and it didn't work. So I feel like the way forward is maybe a cheaper defence. So hence why I've gone 3 at the back. Part of the reason as well is there's so many midfielders this year that are attractive. Like,
I think there's so. Do you not think there's too many midfielders on the game?
Probably.
I went on it, and it was like, and the amount of more midfielders there are is quite ridiculous.
Yeah. The midfielders.
And there's a delve of strikers, right?
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I was coming on to, and you're absolutely right. And that's where it's a bit strange this year is, picking strikers is really hard, because any of the strikers that are half decent have got bad fixture runs. So I almost feel forced into Kane, because we were waiting for
Crimea River. Crimea River.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we were forced. We were I was looking at Evan Ferguson. I was hoping he'd be cheap and an enabler, but he came in at 6, and I was like, well, that's a bit disappointing. So he became less of an option. And then who else do you go for? Watkins is okay, but his fixture run's not great. You can go for Jesus. That's definitely a viable option. But do you go for him and a midfielder and a defender? I don't know. So I feel like initially this is the best way forward. But because you have less striker options and you go Kane and Haaland, we'll come on to 3 million, but it's then hard to do all 3. And you can just fill your midfield with players like that. I have a pool of about 10 or 12 midfielders that I want to have. And I have a pool of about 3 strikers. So, I feel like this is the way a lot of people are going to go. What I also like about this team is I'm not spending any money on my bench. And where I went a bit wrong last year, we've talked about it loads last year, is how I had a first and almost a second sub that were really good.
Yeah, you were going into your game weeks like really struggling, especially post World Cup, post wildcard, where your team was set up for like it was 14 if not 15 player team, whereas my team was so much more value was on the 11 on the pitch,
and I felt that was a good problem to have, and I felt that I could just choose the best players with the best fixtures that week, and if someone didn't start, I had to have a good bench. But that's not really how it works. Typically the more the season goes on, the more your 11 is your 11, because even if the player doesn't start, they usually come on, especially with 5 subs. So if I have that Bell at Luton at 4 million as a defender as my first sub, I'm all right with that.
Yeah, he's my first sub, and I'll be very surprised if that changes, regardless of which structure I go with. I'll be very surprised if that changes.
And when we come on to look at a 1 million in just a minute, the problem with it is, like I said, is you have at least 1 sub that's really good.
Yeah.
And like that 1 million you showed me, and you said the guy's got Reece James on the bench. It's like, what's the point of having Reece James on the bench? So that's partly what I like in this. I'm extracting every penny into my first 11s. My midfield is stacked. I think midfield is the place to go this year. I've got Haaland and Kane up top. The two
It's
best.
it's not this year. It is every year.
Yeah. Yeah.
Every year, it's the place to go.
And
I think
partly this has gone back to what I used to do. My mantra, and we talked about this a lot as well, not getting influenced by YouTubers. They give a lot of great information, but don't get sucked in by them. Play your own way. My own way has always been cheap at the back, always, until I went away from it last year and it cost me. So I don't like to spend loads at the back. So just really quickly, goalkeepers. I will be going with 4.5 and a 4. Forster initially for me was the best 4. I might be wrong, whatever, we'll see. Could change. Still, I really like. I think he's going to be number 1. Brighton's fixture run is really good. If I'm worried that the new boy Verbruggen is going to be number 1, then the other option is the Brentford keeper if Raya goes. So I'll be surprised if it's not Steele or the Brentford keeper. There's a tiny chance it might be Ramsdale, but unlikely. I don't really want to spend 5 million on a goalkeeper, so it will be Steele or Flecken. Is it
the only caveat to a and by the way, I'm on board, and the only reason and that's what I will be doing, because I've never spent money on my goalkeeper before. Yeah. Like i.e., Raya got top point scorer last year, and he was 4.5 at the start. So yeah. You're actually stupid to go with the best goalkeepers tend to be the mid-table team goalkeepers, because they'll make saves. They'll make saves. Whereas your low team, like Danny Ward last year, yeah, he was cheap as chips, but he also was crap. So it was. So he didn't actually do well, even though he was cheap. He didn't do well. So it was that you want that mid-range goalkeeper, finding that gem. I think Aston Villa, was it last year, the year before, when Martinez was the 4.5 and he flew off. So I think that the only caveat is that you could pick Ramsdale, and he's going to play every week, that he's pretty fixture proof. You're not going to be super scared apart from a City away. You're going to get save points because they play quite an open style of football. And 5 million isn't the end of the world. Like, no, it really isn't. But I'm with you with Steele.
Yeah. No, yeah. If we know Steele's number 1, he's a great option, because what's good about Brighton, a nice balance of a pretty good defence, but we'll still concede some chances where he'll need to make saves.
Yeah.
Whereas City don't really do that. So
yeah, and he can get good bonus points. He can
get save points. He can get bonus points. He's a really good penalty stopper as well, actually, which is obviously big points as well. So yeah, it'll be him or Flecken. I'll be surprised if it's not one of those two.
Defense. And also, you're not in. And sorry to, but you're not in massive high scoring games, Brighton. Like you don't want. So last year when Edison was conceding those 1 goals every game, it was because they were winning 4-0, and it didn't matter that they conceded 1 goal.
Yeah.
Whereas if you're winning 2-0, it matters for you to not concede. So therefore, there's still going to be, they're not going to concede at the 81st minute because it just didn't matter. So yeah. Edison isn't. I am an anti-Edison. Put it that way.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I can completely understand. He's a bit of a troll, Edison, as well. Actually, like the amount he trolled Andy last year was frightening. Frightening how much he trolled Andy, honestly. And he's probably going to go back there. But anyway, this looks Brighton biased because it's 3 Brighton, but it's not. And the main reason it's not is just the fixture run we have is very good.
I think that's the thing as well. Don't know if anyone knows. I'm a Liverpool fan. Johnny's a Brighton fan. And we play FPL very neutrally.
Definitely.
I feel like we're quite objective when it comes to FPL.
Definitely. There's no bias in here at all. I just feel like these at the moment are the best options. Just mainly based on fixture run. Estupiñán had the best attacking from any defender last year in terms of his data. He bombs up the pitch. He went ballistic at Arsenal. He's nailed, and some people were expecting him at 5.5. He's coming at 5. He's the same price as Dunk. I'm Dunk's biggest fan, but you'd have a Estupiñán over Dunk. You'd have Ben Mee's 5 million. You'd have a Estupiñán over Ben Mee. So I think it's a great option, and he's an exciting option. He's got a very high roof. Henry, Brentford have got a good fixture run. He's attacking.
You're a bit of a Henry loving boy, aren't you?
A little bit. He's quite attacking, and Why would you go Ben Mee 5 over Henry 4.5? You just wouldn't, would you?
No. I'm completely on board with it.
In general, I'm a bit of a fullback man myself. I think they're
It's just
higher.
Yeah.
The centre backs can come up with the odd header, but it's a bit fluke. If you can find a fullback that bombs up the pitch, then you can get big points, like a stupid.
He's selected in 5.7% of teams. I know there'll be a lot of kind of auto picks that have happened, but 5.7% of teams. But he was one of the first names on your team.
Yeah, and again, that's part of what we talk about, playing your own game. I like him.
Yeah.
Brentford have got an easy run. He's an enabler at 4.5. He's nailed. He's a fullback. He gets forward. What's not to like? He's one of the best 4.5 options. And part of my plan is to swap him out for Botman. Botman is a brilliant option at 4.5. He's nailed in a Champions League defence. But their first 4 games are really bad. So my plan going forward will probably be to swap Henry out for Botman at the same price. James I love. And again, he's... The issue with James, keep an eye on him because his fitness. He's an absolute sick note. But if he's fit, he's one to watch in pre-season. If he's not fit and he's playing a bit part, then that can change to Chilwell because of the same price. But James is a very exciting option. He's another one with a very high roof.
Can you think back to Poch at Spurs?
Yep.
Who was his fullback? Was it Walker?
Yeah, I think so. Was he Did he have Doherty or was that after?
That was after. I feel like he was Rose and Walker.
Who were the fullbacks? I'm just trying to think against Ajax.
Yeah, Rose and Walker, I think.
Rose was bombing. Yeah, I'm confident he plays bombing fullbacks.
And I'm sorry, but if James and Chilwell are bombing fullbacks, we're talking about Trent and Robbo here.
Yeah, no, I agree. The only tiny downside to this is, look, I love my defenders. There's a few more that I love too that I don't have. And that's a bit annoying. So just quick honourable mentions. Zinchenko's 5 million. I really want him. Poro's 5 million. The way Ange plays, by all accounts, he just plays lunacy football. Like his fullbacks play as forwards. Poro is so far
lunacy
forward.
Lunacy football.
Everything we're hearing is that Ange plays lunacy football. So if that's the case, Poro is going to be playing as a striker.
Big Ange loves lunacy football. I think we've just got our short there, mate. We just got our short.
Yeah, exactly. We've got our little short for the week. Yeah. Perisic again is one to keep an eye on because he plays up top as well. You know, he plays very high up pitch. But anyway, those Spurs boys are good options. Zinchenko is a really good option, and the City boys are good options. We just don't know which one to pick. That's what gives me the ick.
And you add Guardiola to it, and there's just another option that you don't know.
That's the problem. Do you go Ake? Do you go Akanji? Do you pay extra for Diaz? Do you go Stones? Do you go Walker?
Kovacic, they just signed, so is Stones going to drop back now to the defence?
I said to myself that I really wanted Triple City, but I'm not sure how you get the City clean sheet into your team, if you know what I mean.
Edison is
probably
the
Edison,
obvious
but
one.
I don't want to spend 5.5 on a keeper that doesn't make saves.
Same.
So that's the issue. I agree with you, he's the nailed one, but his roof is so low. So Stones is the exciting one that might play in midfield. Is he nailed every game? Probably not. So I will have a City defender in my team very soon. If I don't have them by the start of the season, I'll have them by game week 5. We just need to know who that is, really. But anyway, like I say, it's just a bit annoying this because I want more defenders in there because there's great options. But that's the only real downside to this team. I love my midfield. I just absolutely love it. Bruno's basically, I'll take all night talking about this, but I'll try and be as quick as I can. Bruno's just too cheap. That's the simple bottom line. He's 8.5 and he shouldn't be. He's a 9.5, 10 million player. We know he's on penalties. He underperformed last year. His data was phenomenal. He actually underperformed. He had games where he could have gone bananas and just got an assist. Hit the bar, hit the post. Like Forest away, I think, was one, for example, where he could have got loads. So people forget he's a good player and he makes United tick. And the only slight thing, like you said, is whereabouts he's going to play. If they're going to play Mount, is he going to play deeper? But I'm happy to take that risk. The only other slight thing I was going to say is it's him or Rashford. Rashford's 0.5 million more expensive. You can make a case for Rashford, But the fact that Rashford's gone up 2.5 million and Bruno's gone down 1.5 million makes me more tempted by Bruno.
Yeah, you're a price and fixture man. Everyone needs to know that as well. Like you are, you're a whore for that kind of stuff. So therefore, those statement that you made is just going to sing to your. It's going to sing to your.
It does. It
juices.
makes Bruno makes me more excited at 8.5 than Rashford does at 9. I'm not putting people off Rashford, but he's 2.5 million more expensive. Does he deserve it? Yeah, of course he does. Do I think Bruno can outscore him this year? Of course I do. Of course I think he can. Yeah. So he just excites me.
I don't think there's going to be a massive amount of difference between the two players. If you have them in for 38 games of the season, the two players, there's going to be very few, barring an injury, between the two of them.
Yeah, agreed.
Even if Rashford plays up front, which
could happen. That's what I mean.
And that's the other thing that we really need to watch out for is that Man United need a striker. Weghorst has gone back. Martial has he left now? Or
I was quickly going to mention that if they don't sign a striker, Martial is a viable option.
Yeah.
Because we're struggling with strikers. He's 6.5. Could be an option.
Yeah, good point. Especially in that 1 million team.
Yeah, exactly.
Or if you choose to go for Salah over Kane.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Really quickly, let me whittle through this. Matoma, very exciting player. We've got a good fixture run. What's not to like? Luton at home, first game of the season. I talk about roof all the time, but his roof's very high. He's capable. I think he's going to have a really good breakthrough. I say breakthrough. He broke through last year, but he hasn't reached his potential yet. His potential is massive, and I just think if he performs how he can, he's capable of lots, and he's pretty nailed. So I just think of the Brighton options, I wanted a Brighton midfielder because of the fixture run, and we actually score. For people that don't know, we score bundles of goals now under De Zerbi. Our XG is frightening. So you want a piece of that. You can't really get a piece of it up front. You have to get a piece of it in midfield.
Well, you could be because you could, Ferguson could be. You could be so cheap at 6.
Yeah, he could be. But I have to wait and see about his minutes. If he was 5, he's straight in as an enabler. But at 6, look, I adore Ferguson. You know how much I rave about him. Would I have Calvert-Lewin over him at the same price? Probably. So yeah, that's another one for another day. But Calvert-Lewin at 6. Everton's fixtures run's pretty good on penalties, nailed. It all goes through him. Ferguson's not going to play 90 minutes that much.
He all goes through him, but he misses open goals. So.
No, I understand that. But he scores when he has his runs. He scores a lot of tap-ins. He has to be nailed if he's fit. By the way, you can't.
Yeah, no, I'm on board.
So you want a piece of the Brighton midfield, and Ciso is cheaper. He's exciting, but he's a risk. He wasn't a risk last year, but we've now got João Pedro, which is going to play in a similar position. Are we going to sign someone for 30 million and not play him? Probably not. So his place in the side is touch and go. I think he's going to be more of an impact sub. So then it's down to Matoma and March. And I like March. I know you don't. I like him. But I think at the same price, you go Matoma. If March was cheaper, it'd tempt me. But at the same price, I think it's Matoma. Mbumo, I love.
We don't need to talk about him.
I just love him. By the way, if people are listening, he's locked in my team. I love him. He was brilliant towards the end of last year. He's on penalties. Everything goes through him. He plays up top. Tony's banned. The main reason I've got him is because Tony's banned. What's that?
If you're watching this stream, this video, you are a very involved FPL person. Yeah. And you are going to look at your team, and Mbumo's going to be in it.
Yeah.
I guarantee.
All the ones that I'll say this, all the ones that know roughly what they're doing should have Mbumo.
Yeah, well, they will.
Put it this way: would it surprise me if he had the same impact as Tony? No, it wouldn't surprise me. So therefore, that's a steal. 6.5 midfielder on penalties, everything goes through him. He's guaranteed to play. Could be a phenomenal good option. Brentford have got a good round of fixtures. I actually mentioned him a few weeks ago when we started. I was like, just a little little teaser for you, everyone, about Mbumo. As soon as he said he was
Yeah.
midfield as well, I was like, wow. So yeah, just locked.
No, you were on board with
Early.
regardless of price, regardless of position.
Because
wanted him.
mainly because of Tony. Mainly because of Tony.
Yeah.
And fixtures and loads of tick boxes. Saka, you have to have an Arsenal mid. I just really feel like you do. How can you not have an Arsenal attacking or striker with that fixture run? You kind of have to. If you don't, you're missing out. So yes, you can go Jesus if you want, but I think you've got to have an Arsenal mid. Saka 8.5, Odegaard 8.5, Martinelli 8. For me, I think I love Odegaard as a player, but I don't think I would go for him at that price. The other two are more attacking; they play further up the pitch. So the decision really is 8.5. Saka.
I think they've put Odegaard as 0.5 too much. Really,
yeah,
in
I
my
agree with
opinion.
you. I couldn't agree more. I think if he was 8, Saka was 8.5. I think that's perfect.
I think Odegaard is 0.5.
I agree with you, but some will have him because he was phenomenal last year. Some will have him, but for me, it's Saka or Martinelli. Very close. The only reason I've gone Saka is, am I happy to pay 0.5 extra for more nailedness and penalties? Yes. Yes, I am. If you think Martinelli's a better player, then I get it. I think they're very close. But like I say, am I happy to pay 0.5 for penalties and nailedness? Yes, I am.
I personally feel that Martinelli has got roof is higher than Saka's.
Yeah, you're a big Martinelli fan, and I completely get it. And if you go Martinelli over Saka, that's not bad. That's not stupid whatsoever.
No.
I'm a bit of a Saka fan.
I feel Martinelli finished. Yeah, Martinelli finished the season better than Saka did, but is that old news? I'm unsure. So.
Yeah. I just think that I'm not saying Martinelli isn't. He's just less nailed. He's fairly nailed, but he's less nailed. And the thing is, the difference between this year and last year is, can you remember the start of last year? We're like, I wonder who's going to be on Arsenal's pens. We know who's on Arsenal's.
Yeah.
So, Foden is a bit of a punt. I know it's a punt that you like as well. I just feel the other one to look at is Grealish, and I'm not going to slate Grealish. I'm done with that stage of my life where I've slated Grealish. He's a fantastic player, but. And it's not being biased at all. It's not anti-Grealish. His output isn't much. 4 goals or whatever, and that was a good season. So yes, he makes some assists. Yes, he's a big player for Man City, but he's not necessarily a great FPL asset. Foden is more capable of getting you more points than Grealish. He's just less nailed. So that's the punt you take. If I was to lose a midfielder of those 5, I would take Foden out. He would be the one on my chopping block. But if he went, then I have one City, and that makes me feel sick. So Foden could be a wait and see.
But, no. I think Foden is most certainly a wait and see.
Yeah.
But I think it's going to be wait and see, and he's going to be playing a lot. So I think Gundogan's gone. Gundogan's gone.
Yeah, I was going to say that. Yeah, Mahrez looked like he might go. Bernardo might go.
And Bernardo might go. If say one of the two, Mahrez or Bernardo, goes, then you're looking at a very, very, very nailed Phil Foden. And
I think people will worry about his minutes after last year, but people forget that he had an operation and etc. etc.
I cannot believe that Phil Foden is going to be content with having another season like last year, where he sat on the frigging bench, on the bench watching the team win a treble. He's going to be fuming about that. So and I'm not saying he's going to move. I'm not going to say he's going to move.
I just hope Pep doesn't have the ick with Foden. That's what I hope. Do you know what I mean? Pep has the ick with some players, like he has the ick with Laporte. Do you know what I mean? For some reason.
If he has the ick with Foden, then I'd be very surprised if Foden is there.
Yeah, that's fair. That's true. Yeah, fair enough. No, I agree with you. I think he could break through. Like he kept a lot of faith in Grealish last year. I'm hoping he has faith in Foden.
I don't want to think that this is a breakthrough. Phil Foden's not a breakthrough.
No,
I think he's just out of favour.
Yeah,
and I understand why they didn't push for him to play when the rest of the team were winning. So therefore, I understand why it didn't happen. However, this is a new season. This is you know, people have moved on.
Yeah. No, I just think I just love him as a player. I just think he's, by the way, I think he's a phenomenal player. I think he hasn't reached his potential yet either. I think what he's capable of is, well, in my eyes, frightening. What he's capable of. So, yeah. Other honourable mentions, ones that would come in instead if I wanted to change Foden. Eze, I love. It does depend a bit on Zaha. It does look like Zaha's going. If Zaha goes, Eze will be the focal point on penalties. One to keep an eye on. The fixture one isn't amazing, but at 6.5, great option. I prefer Son to you. I know Son gives you the ick a little bit, but he's come down from 12 to 9. One to keep an eye on. So those kind of two would be my next two.
If you saw a sofa in DFS that has gone from 600 to 300, yeah? Do you need the sofa?
Could be great value there.
Do you need the sofa?
The way I live, I need a good sofa, mate.
No, but like what I'm saying is, just because it's good value doesn't mean that you need it.
Yeah.
Like it's like he has got to be a wait and see. And I know I'm kind of contradicting myself with Foden,
no, I agree.
but if we are waiting and seeing with Foden, and pre-season is going to be massive, and Foden could basically be, in.
Yeah.
And if he's not, then we'll move on.
The main reason he's in is I want a slice of the City attack, and I'm happy. It's a calculated risk. That's what it is. Haaland, don't need to say anything. He's 14 million. He's a lot of money. Just move on. If it's 15 million, I'll have him. If it's 15.5 million, I'll have him. If it's 16 million, I'll probably have him. It'd have to be 17 million for me to consider not having him. So it's just
with
free
the fixture run.
With the fixture run, it's the cherry on the top of the cake. Kane, like I said, phenomenal player, arguably still underrated. 30 Premier League goals last year, absolute joke. World class player. That's all you need to know, really. And like I said, mainly
the only thing I want to see,
Salah.
The only thing I want to see differently is not that Tottenham shirt on. And it would be amazing if he's got a Man United shirt, if he's got a Chelsea shirt, whatever it is.
I've heard whispers of Chelsea, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, look, he's a London lad, and but it's just whether he could stomach going from Tottenham to Chelsea. I think that would, he's got a lot of credibility there. So, but yeah.
I can actually see the Bayern move happening personally. I can actually see it, but we'll see. Apparently today Tottenham have offered him multi-million pounds deal, so we'll see. But yeah, it's mostly I love Kane, but it's mostly it sounds bad. There's not that many striker options. So if I don't have Kane, who do I go for?
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? So it's partly that. Whereas I'm not anti-Salah, but I've got 7 midfielders that I'm trying to fit in, and I haven't even mentioned Salah yet. I've got the 5 that I've picked, plus Eze, plus Son, plus Rashford, and then Salah. So I just don't feel like I need him. Whereas I've got Haaland, and then who else? Like there's so little striker options this year to start the season. So yeah, that's why I've done that. Maximising my value. I mean, don't mind my bench.
A lot of the striker options are gone with players like Mitrovic having terrible runs at the start of the season. Tony being banned. Yep. Watkins being
okay,
very flashy. Yeah. That's like a stretch to go from like a 12-6 to go to a Watkins at 8. Oh, and then I'm like you. I just feel like
Who else is there?
Well, you've got the Wilsons and Isaacs, and their fixture is terrible. Yeah, so like I am on board.
Jesus would be my next one.
I just think that you're getting better value for the midfielders than you are Jesus.
I agree. So, definitely. Calvert-Lewin's a risk. He's cheap, but he's a risk. But 6 million shocked me.
And Calvert-Lewin and Ferguson, right, could be your strikers. Okay, they could be your 2 strikers.
That's a nice price point.
They could end the season on their value could be 7.5 if they set off.
Yeah,
if they set off. But but they could end the season with values of, they could end up the season with 10 points each because
both risks.
we just don't know what you're going to get. You just don't know what you're going to get from them.
Yep, agree. Good. So where to next? Let me
pull up my Threemium. So a little bit of I'll just move this forward. So I'm not going to spend a load of time going through it because it's very clear. Obviously, I've gone for stealing net. My bench is fodder, so ignore that for us for the time being. So Steel, we've spoke about 4.5. It will be a 4.5, I suspect, especially if I'm going to go for a Threemium. And the reason why Threemium is a thing is because I don't know how you can leave out Salah, and I don't know how you can leave out Kane and Haaland's. It's Haaland and 10 other players on the team. So I understand why people don't do it. And ultimately, the difference between my team and Johnny's team that he's done is that there's no Bruno, and it's upgrade to Salah. So I've got to find 4 million somewhere. Okay. So if you look through the team, you'll see where 4 million's gone. There's no Arsenal. There's no Arsenal there's no Arsenal midfielder. Yeah. And there is Zinchenko is 0.5 less. And is that it?
No, you've saved on a 4 million as well. You've got 2 more 4 million defenders.
Oh yeah. Sorry. So Zinchenko we spoke about. I think his ceiling is pretty high. I've got a slice of the Arsenal defence there. Reece James is a little bit of a risk, but I would be happy to, if we knew about a 4.5 of Enzo. So say, by the way, I just picked a 5 million. Enzo is just a little bit of he's in the team. I can't see Chelsea going without him. They spent over 100 million on him. He's probably going to be a decent focal point in the team. Whether he's probably going to be 3 points most games. Is that a terrible thing to have? Probably not for 5 million.
And you have the option. You have the option.
Is there a better option? Yeah.
But you have the option to just go 4.5 and then, I don't know, upgrade Henry to Porro or Ake, or that 5 million price point defence is quite nice.
If we find the 4.5 midfielder who's playing, then I'm happy to do that. It's just that at the moment, it's 4 hours into the game being open. So, and I don't have a clue who plays for Sheffield United yet. So, like, for example, that's a great point. And there could be a 4.5 gem like Lundstrom was that year. Yeah. So, let's get that straight. Zinchenko, I think, is a really good option. He looks like he's going to be fit going into the start of the season. He's going to be their left back. I don't get how he's 0.5 cheaper than Ben White. I just don't get it.
It should be pretty well, right? Who's his competition there? Who's his competition? Tierney, and they want him out.
Tierney, who they want to be gone,
So there's no competition. There's arguably, if they bring in Timber, then there's more competition for Ben White and Gabriel.
And Zinchenko is on set pieces, and so sometimes he takes set pieces and stuff, and like, if anything, Arsenal are going to be a much better outfit when Declan Rice is there. So I'm super on board with the Arsenal defence. So I would be content with going in with Zinchenko. Rico Henry, I do like him. We always said don't get swayed by content creators, and given that we have 8 followers on Twitter, I'd say that we're now content creators. And therefore, am I swayed by you? I'm not. Look, it's 4.5, and I'm happy to pick whoever at 4.5.
Yeah, but Botman's a good option for 4.5.
Yeah, but his fixture runs shit. So therefore, I'm content with Henry. Let's talk about Mo Salah. You didn't have one Liverpool player in your team, and that is a scary thought, mate. Just making it out.
I wanted Trent. I thought Trent would be nailed, but eight kind of shocked me a bit.
8 is look, I'm Trent. We spoke about this. I'm Trent's biggest fan. You know, he's a god amongst men, as far as I'm concerned. If pre-season tells us that Trent is playing in midfield and he is nailed in midfield, Liverpool go out and buy the best right back in the world, and he's moved up and he's going to play. He was the number 10 shirt for England. Okay, now if he is the number 10 for Liverpool playing in defence, then 8 million is like, our class as a defender. 8 million is cheap as chips, and he's going to be in every single team.
Yeah.
However, we just don't know that yet. And put it this way: if I'm going premium, I don't think I can find room for an 8 million pack. I can't go for it. No. So, like, the sacrifices would be hefty. Like, that Bell would 100% be playing. He'd be a started, and I think that is a bit reckless. So there would be a little bit of a rejig. Out of the 3 premiums, I don't know which one I'd choose. Haaland, Kane, and Salah. I think the pre-season's going to tell us loads. And look, 2 years ago, was it 2 years ago or last year? Kane wasn't there for the first game because he was throwing his toys out the pram. Yeah. We could be seeing that. We could be seeing that again. So, so he could really be pandering for this move. So And Buemo, we're not talking about. He's going to be in every single team that people focus on. Foden has the potential to be one of the best 7.5 options this game has ever seen, in my opinion. There's no KDB for the start of the season. There's plenty of people that look like they're going to be on the move, so therefore he could really be starting. Matoma, I'm perfectly happy with him. Really great option. I had him when his ownership was 1.3, I think, last year. And it climbed all the way up to 40%, and I got so much team value in him. It was ridiculous. So, and then Haaland and Kane we've spoken enough about, and as I've mentioned, I really hope that Kane does manage to get that move. If he gets that move to Man United, I'm so happy with that team because I've got Man United cover, which I don't currently have. I've got Arsenal cover, Liverpool cover. I've got two City covers. I've got 3 Brighton covers. Like, I feel like I'm covering a lot. Yes, Chelsea.
If Kane goes to Bayern Munich, what do you do? Do you downgrade him to a cheaper striker and then upgrade somewhere else?
Yeah, I would be very surprised. I'd probably go
and then Enzo up to Bruno.
Yeah, that's
then
exactly
a
it.
4 million defender up to Ake or Porro or whatever.
Yeah. Like that. But like 3-5-2 is what I will be very surprised. That's what I will be going with. 3-5-2 as a structure, and I'm quite happy with that Bell coming on, and I think that Bayer is pretty nailed as well at Burnley. So therefore, that's what I'm going to go with. If the game was to start tomorrow, do I get cold feet with this team? It's a very, very, very risky strategy. However, you know, I might not get the highest points, but I'm definitely not going to get the lowest points.
You're pretty much guaranteed some points with those 3.
Yeah, because as well, like I'm going to catch the Salah wave and the Haaland wave and the Kane wave.
Have you seen Salah's only 20% owned now at the moment?
Yeah, that doesn't worry me.
No. It should. What I mean, it should excite you, because if he does what he's capable of, then he's 20% owned.
Yeah, and like the amazing thing, he's gone down. He's gone down after having another amazing season.
Yeah.
And Liverpool have strengthened as well. Yeah. Like they've become a better. Potentially they've become a better team. So, yeah. So I think that's pretty much covered from my side. There's not a great deal of changes. And by the way, the other thing as well that I wanted to mention is, like, I love template, because template means that we are engaged. We're doing something right. Template will not be far off.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. Just really quickly, just the other. I think I quickly did a 3 million. Where is it? This one? Yeah. So I think your 3 million spot on. I just had a couple of little changes. I think I upgraded. What did I do? Yeah, I went Enzo down to blank.
Oh, and then Botman.
Yeah, Botman instead of your 4 million defender. Yeah, other than that, I think it's exactly the same.
Yeah, I'd be very. If you're going to go freemium, you're pretty structured with who you can have and who you can't have. I did send my first team had Bruno instead of Foden, and there was some other sacrifices around there, which isn't terrible. Which isn't terrible because Bruno is borderline a premium, so we're knocking on the door of a formium. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Just really quickly, this is the 1 million. The good thing with the 1 million is you have so much money to spend, and you can just.
Son stinks in that team, mate.
Yeah, but
he stinks the team out.
Just because Fernandes and Rashford.
No, just because I don't think that you're making so many sacrifices to change Son down and Calvert-Lewin up to Kane, and you've got such a better team by doing that.
No, I agree. I don't think I'm going to do this. I don't think I'm going to go for a 1 million. But in a 1 million,
sorry. Let's just do that. Let's just think about what you'd need. So Calvert-Lewin, so Son, you'd need an extra 3.5 to go up to Kane. Yep. So you'd have to make a tiny bit. So you'd probably if you went Henry down to I think you could do it Henry to and this is what I mean. This is close to being almost a freemium here because Son's pretty high value, Trent's really high value, Bruno's pretty high value. So I know you're saying it's only your 1 million, but it's not really.
Yeah. But like I say, good things and bad things. Good thing is you're spreading your money everywhere. Bad news is, and what I absolutely hate, is you've got 1 blank.
I think you need a minimum of 2 blanks.
Yeah. Who the hell do you have? Who the hell do you have on the bench?
I think Henry, you could go down to a Bell, and then you've got 0.5 more, and then you could
go Bruno to Rashford.
Dud Son. If you did Son and then upgraded to Kane, I think that is a great team, actually.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I agree. But when you're upgrading to Kane, it's not a 1 million. So I agree with you that a 1 million isn't possible.
No, I don't.
It's possible, but I just don't like it.
I think the only way that it becomes possible, or Mo Salah.
Yeah, I would probably be going to 2. But I wouldn't completely rule out a 3. But I'm pretty confident I'll go for a 2. If Kane goes abroad, then it's going to be very interesting. Then there's a chance that I go 1 million. I'm not an anti-Salah. I just have other midfielder options that I all want in, basically. But I think if Kane does go abroad, I will probably go Salah. Salah and Haaland. I think most people would do that.
By the way, a little bit of context as well. Johnny went into the start of last season without Mo Salah, and I
sweared at me and said I was an idiot. Yeah.
Well, no. I phoned up I had to phone up like the Samaritans and just make sure that he was booked into an appointment because I thought that you'd gone clinically insane.
Yeah, everyone thought I was a lunatic, but this year he's only 20% owned,
and he's cheaper.
Yeah, no, I know exactly. So I just don't understand. Look, he's a brilliant player, he's a brilliant FPL asset, but you beat me last year.
I do think you've got to say that you got a little bit lucky with him.
Yeah, but in hindsight, was it a bad move to start with Kane and Haaland at the start of the season? No.
No, of course it wasn't.
The chat last year was, do you go Kane or do you go Haaland? And I decided to turn that on its head and go, I'm going to have both.
I know. No. So, I get it. It was just that I felt like it was a rogue move. And in the end, Salah ended up with loads of points.
Yeah, but I had him for a while and I got a lot of his points.
I know. And this is what I mean. You got really lucky by getting him on the weeks when you actually you got him at the right time, which is
I got quite lucky with his missed pens. Every time I didn't have him, he missed a pen, and then when I brought him in, he scored pens. So But the biggest thing was the fixture swing with him, and then you couldn't really not have him. But yeah, look, I'm actually, I know you're not going to believe this. I'm not anti-Salah. I'm not. I'm really not. What got me more on board last year was how bad he was perceived to be and how many points he scored.
Yeah.
That's got me on board. I'm just not a Salah lock. That's all. I'm not a Salah lock. That's all it is. And it's based more on the structure of how this year is working in terms of how many midfield options, how many good midfield options there are, and how many little striker options there are. And that format, it just goes against Salah. If Salah was a 12 million striker, it'd be straight in my side. Straight in. And he'd probably be an over Kane. And that's that. But you just the way the strategy worked this year, someone will have to tell me some good strikers this year because I can't find any. Apart from Haaland. Yeah. Okay. So we're good.
Perfect.
Good. Anything else you want to mention?
I think we're going to have a real. Is there much more? Pre-season's massive now.
Yeah.
A lot of the teams are coming back. A lot of transfers are going to happen.
Yeah.
I think that the next thing for me is trying to nail those players that are far too low valued, that don't. And I need to start looking about how Sheffield United are going to play, how Burnley are going to play.
That's what I was going to come on to. I think where content creators are good at this time of year is telling me who the best 4 millions are. So Andy will say Bell played 38 times last year, etc., etc. He's the 4 million. He might go, the other 4 million is this Sheffield United boy, because I didn't really watch much of the Championship. So he might go, this Sheffield United boy at 4 million should be nailed. Do you know what I mean? He's telling me who the 4s and the 4.5s are, really.
And then also transfers. You know, we all expect Raya to go. Therefore, this other keeper so therefore you're getting Brentford's keeper, regardless of the name, regardless of who it is. We want to find out who Brentford's goalkeeper is, because it's a decision between Brentford's goalkeeper versus Brighton's goalkeeper. So good.
But like we are tired. The good thing is, the next time we do a podcast, nothing much is going to have changed, and we're going to be talking more about similar stuff and tweaking our drafts. Obviously, between now and then, I'm going to be playing around, and I'm going to be trying to find some info. But what I'm saying is the next pod is going to be similar to this one.
So I almost feel like how far are we from the start of the season? 4 weeks.
12th of August, I think it is. So
shut up.
I think it's 12th of August. I think.
Oh my God, I've got so much pondering time.
That's ages away. I mean, Brighton versus Luton is on the 12th of August. Yep.
People are going to be getting so much abuse on Twitter.
5 weeks. 5 weeks and 3 days.
Wow. I'm going to apologise now to the FPL community. FPL Weekly.
You're going to get so bad. You're going to get our Twitter account banned.
FPL Weekly is coming for you.
Yeah, definitely. Good, mate. Good stuff. Thanks, everyone, for listening. It's an exciting day. Obviously, we'll be talking loads more about players, prices, value, all that kind of stuff in the lead up to the start of the season. And then when the season starts, obviously, then we'll be going even more crazy about how things change. So, as usual, Twitter, FPL Weekly 11. Chez is on board with that, and he's going mad on it, which is quite funny. Instagram, FPL Weekly 1. I'm on top of that. It's just pictures and stuff. I'll probably put all the screenshots on there. I'll probably put my kind of 4 pictures into one, like I did with the last one. So, YouTube obviously is where you get all the videos at FPL Weekly. So, if you can subscribe and like as much as you can, it'd be much appreciated.
Follow us on Twitter. On Twitter. I want more engagement on Twitter.
Chez is on top of that and just slandering everyone, which is quite amusing. And on that bombshell, we will see you next time. Thanks very much for listening, as always. Bye.